They called my cooking experimental. So I made a full spread for Thanksgiving, everything from their favorite chain restaurant. They loved it. I showed them the receipts. I'm 42, married to my wife Denise for 16 years. We live in Springfield, Missouri. I work in shipping for a warehouse distributor. Denise works part-time at a dentist's office. We've got 3 kids. Life's not glamorous, but it's solid. I like it that way. One thing you should know about me: I love cooking. I'm not trained or anything, but I read cookbooks like people read novels. I follow chefs on YouTube. I try new recipes all the time. Food is how I show love. It's how I decompress after work. It's my thing. Denise is family, though they've never really gotten it. When we first got married, I'd cook for her mom and sister, Shelby, and they were polite. Not enthusiastic, just polite. Over time, I started doing Thanksgiving every year. I'd go all out. Fresh turkey brined for 2 days, roasted low and slow. Mashed potatoes from scratch, seasoned just right. Real cranberry sauce, not the canned stuff. Herb stuffing with sausage. Glazed carrots, sweet potato casserole with candied pecans. I'd bake pies too, apple and pumpkin from scratch. I took pride in it. But year after year, I started noticing little jabs. They'd glance at each other when they tasted something. I'd hear whispers. Then they stopped whispering. Shelby started calling my meals experimental. At first, it was a joke. "Oh, what's in this? Cardamom? Who are you, Gordon Ramsay? This is interesting. Are you trying out for Chopped or something?" One year, she brought a bucket of KFC and said she was just helping out. That was 4 years ago. Last year, they crossed a line. Shelby walked in late, per usual, looked at the food, turned to Denise, and said, "God, more of his experiments. Why can't we just have normal food?" Denise's mom chimed in. "You know what would be fun? Just ordering from Applebee's next year. Save the trouble." They laughed. Denise smiled. She didn't defend me. Not even a word. I said nothing. Cleaned the dishes like I always do. But I was burning inside. That night, I told Denise I was done. No more Thanksgiving meals. She said I was overreacting. Said her family just has different tastes. Said I didn't have to take it personally. But I did. So this year, I told everyone I'd cook again. Told them I'd keep it simple. Just the basics, I said. Good old-fashioned food. Denise was surprised I agreed. She said her mom and Shelby were excited. I smiled and nodded. What they didn't know was I had something else planned. Thanksgiving morning, I didn't set foot in the kitchen. I got in my truck at 7 a.m. and drove across Springfield. First stop, Cracker Barrel. I picked up turkey, gravy, mashed potatoes, biscuits, and dressing. Next, Applebee's, green bean casserole and mac and cheese. Chili's had sweet corn and boneless wings. Olive Garden gave me salad, breadsticks, and pasta just for filler. Cheesecake Factory handled dessert. I drove back with bags of food, kept everything warm in the oven, and plated it all on our nicest dishes. I even added a few sprigs of parsley to make it look homey. Took me maybe an hour and a half to set everything up. Everyone showed up around 2. Shelby walked in and said, smells great this year." Denise's mom said, "Oh wow, this looks more normal. Thank you for not going all Top Chef this time." I smiled, poured them some wine, sat down with my plate. They devoured everything. No complaints. No snide remarks. Just compliments. "This turkey is perfect. The green bean casserole is exactly how Mom used to make it. Now this is what Thanksgiving should taste like." After everyone ate, we were all sitting around, full and smug. That's when I stood up and walked back into the dining room. I came back with a small folder. I laid out every single receipt. Cracker Barrel, Applebee's, Chili's, Olive Garden, Cheesecake Factory, right on the table. Shelby was mid-sip of wine when she looked down. She blinked. Denise's mom tilted her head. "Wait, what's this?" I said, "That's dinner. Every item you just raved about. Not a single thing was made by me. You've been praising microwave chain restaurant food for the last hour." Shelby laughed nervously. "Wait, what? No, you're joking." I didn't laugh. I pointed to the receipts again. "You said you wanted normal food. Here it is." I didn't cook a damn thing. I just warmed it up and made it look pretty. Denise was frozen. Her mouth was half open like she wanted to speak but couldn't. I kept going. "For 15 years I gave you my best. Spent days prepping, hours cooking, and I got made fun of. You called my food weird. You said it wasn't real food. Well, guess what? You loved every bite of that fake food. You wanted Applebee's? You got it. No one said a word. I walked out to the garage and cracked open a beer. I sat on a folding chair next to the workbench and just stared at the concrete floor. Denise came out 10 minutes later and sat beside me. She didn't say sorry, just said they were out of line. I nodded. That was all I needed to hear from her for now. We haven't talked about next Thanksgiving, but if they want Cracker Barrel again, they know where to get it. The days after Thanksgiving were quiet. Too quiet. Denise's family group chat, which usually lit up with photos and praise after big holidays, was silent. No, thanks for hosting. No, great food. Not even a half-hearted emoji. I didn't care. Or at least I told myself I didn't. Truth was, it bugged me. Not because I wanted thanks, but because they were embarrassed. And I knew that embarrassed people either disappear or they come out swinging. Turns out, Shelby picked the second one. The following Saturday, we were at the high school gym for our son's basketball game. Denise and I were sitting in the bleachers when Shelby came in and sat right behind us. She didn't even say hi. Just started loud talking, like she wanted to be heard. I just think it's childish to trick people, she said. Especially family. Who does that on a holiday? I didn't turn around. Denise shifted uncomfortably next to me. People put in time and effort to show up, Shelby went on. The least someone could do is be honest about the food they're serving. Denise looked at me. I stayed quiet. Let her deal with it. After the game, in the parking lot, Denise finally snapped. You embarrassed them, she said. They feel attacked. I stared at her. I didn't embarrass anyone. They embarrassed themselves. She sighed. You made your point. Can't we just move on? But here's the thing. No one was asking to move on. Her mom hadn't called. Shelby was talking behind my back. No apologies. No accountability. Just her pride and deflection. A week later, Denise told me her mom was hosting Christmas this year. They want to take the pressure off you, she said. I raised an eyebrow. Or keep me out of the kitchen? She didn't answer. I said, that's fine. I'll bring drinks. Christmas Eve came. We drove over to her mom's house. I brought 2 big jugs of homemade eggnog, one spiked, one not. I didn't say a word about the food. Didn't even look at it. Just ate quietly, complimented nothing, and kept to myself. But then Denise's mom tried to clear the air, her version of it. She raised a glass and said, let's toast to a drama-free meal this year. No tricks, no games. Just family and real food. Shelby giggled. Denise looked like she wanted to vanish. I didn't toast. I stood up and poured my drink in the sink, then said, guess I'll stick to fake food at home. I walked out to the car and waited. That was the beginning of the real fallout. Denise didn't speak to me on the drive home. When we got back, the kids went to bed, and she unloaded. You're making everything about you, she snapped. It was one comment, 1 year. You've turned it into a war. I said, no. It wasn't 1 year. It was every year. And it wasn't one comment. It was years of digs, jabs, and disrespect. And you let it happen. That hit her hard. She got quiet. Then she said something that caught me off guard. I never asked you to cook Thanksgiving. You took it over. I stared at her, stunned. You think that makes this better? She walked off. Slept in the guest room that night. Now things are cold between us. Real cold. And deep down, I know this isn't just about food. It's about being ignored, dismissed, and finally drawing a line. And that line has cracked the floor under our marriage. They thought I'd just get mad and let it go. But I'm not done yet. January rolled in like a bad hangover. After Christmas, Denise and I barely talked. We passed each other like coworkers who'd had a falling out but still had to share a break room. I cooked for the kids, cleaned up after myself, stayed out of her way. She stopped asking if I wanted to watch shows together. I stopped asking if she wanted dinner. I thought maybe it would cool off. But then something else happened. Late one night, I was grabbing a snack from the fridge when I saw her phone light up on the counter. Message preview. It was from Shelby. He's being dramatic. You don't have to put up with it forever. That stopped me cold. I shouldn't have read it. I know that. But I did. I picked up the phone and scrolled. There was a thread. Weeks long. Maybe months. Mostly Shelby venting. But Denise wasn't just ignoring it. She was feeding it. I know. I'm exhausted. It's like he thinks he's the victim. He used to be fun. Now he's just angry all the time. There were more. Lines that hit hard. Lines that made me feel like a stranger in my own house. I didn't say anything right away. I put the phone down and went to bed. But I didn't sleep. The next morning, Denise noticed something was off. I was quiet. Focused. Calm. That scared her more than yelling would have. By the end of the week, I booked a cabin for a weekend away, just me and the kids. Told Denise I needed space. She asked if it was about Christmas. I said no. It's about everything. You said I made Thanksgiving about me, but you've been making our whole marriage about them. She tried to defend herself. Said I was overthinking it. Said Shelby just says things. I cut her off. No. She says things because she knows you won't stop her. And now I know that too. I left with the kids the next morning. We drove 2 hours to Table Rock Lake. I grilled burgers, taught my son how to chop onions, helped my daughter roast marshmallows over the fire pit. We laughed more that weekend than we had all December. And when we got back, I'd made a decision. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to fight. I was going to pull back, one thread at a time. I canceled the spring break trip I'd been planning for the whole family, just took the kids. I stopped joining dinner at her mom's house on Sundays. When they called, I let it ring. If they asked why, I said, I'm busy. I focused on the kids, on my job, and on rebuilding my peace. Denise noticed. One night, she finally said it. I feel like you're erasing yourself from this family. I said, no, I'm erasing them. There's a difference. But I could see it. This wasn't just about her family anymore. This was about us. We were splitting down the middle, slowly, and I wasn't sure I wanted to fix it. Then one day, a letter came in the mail. It was from a lawyer. Not divorce papers, but close. Her mother had rewritten her will. I wasn't named in it anymore. Not as a healthcare proxy, not as an executor, nothing. Denise was named for everything. There was a sticky note attached, just wanted to keep things clean. Family only. That was it. No name, no greeting, just a message, clear as glass. I showed it to Denise. She turned red. I didn't know about this. Of course you did, I said. She wouldn't do it without telling you. And in that moment, I felt something harden inside me. I'd been trying to pull back quietly, let the damage speak for itself. But now they were making it legal, making it official. I wasn't family to them anymore. Fine. They'd made their move. Now it was my turn. After the letter, everything shifted. Denise kept trying to play both sides. She'd say things like, she didn't mean it like that, or, it's not about you. But it was always about me. About cutting me out, little by little, while smiling to my face. I didn't blow up. I didn't curse anybody out. I just made my own plans. I met with a lawyer. Quietly. Not to file for divorce. Not yet. But to understand what would happen if I did. What I'd keep. What she'd lose. Missouri's not a state that favors one side much. I knew what I was entitled to. Half the house. Half the retirement. Shared custody. I wasn't looking to ruin her. I was looking to level the field. Then I did something I didn't expect myself to do. I started keeping notes. Every comment she made about me in front of the kids. Every time she took them to her mom's without telling me. Every passive-aggressive jab. I wrote it down, dated it, kept it in a folder in my work locker. Because I knew what was coming. It happened in March. Shelby filed for divorce. She was the one who pushed Denise to stand up for herself, to take space, to not tolerate controlling men. And then her own husband left her after she drained their savings on a credit card he didn't know about. Suddenly, Denise started acting strange. More clingy. More agreeable. She wanted to cook dinner again. She wanted to plan a family movie night. She even suggested I take her out for a change. But I wasn't dumb. I knew what it was. Fear. She saw what happened to Shelby. She saw how fast it all can fall apart. And now she was backpedaling hard. Too little, too late. I told her I wanted a break. A real one. Asked her to move in with her mom for a while, just to give us space. She hesitated. Said it would confuse the kids. I said, no. They already see everything. I'm just done pretending. She left that weekend. Took the kids with her for a few nights. That turned into a week. Then 2. That's when I made my move. I filed. Did it clean. No mudslinging. But I had my notes. I had texts. I had screenshots of Shelby calling me a narcissist and Denise laughing at it. I had proof that they'd been trying to edge me out for years. My lawyer smiled and said, they're gonna hate how calm you are. The day Denise was served, she called me in tears. This doesn't have to happen, she said. We can fix this. I said, no. You made your choice when you let them humiliate me in my own home for years. You don't get to play the victim now. The custody battle got ugly. Her mom tried to say I was emotionally abusive. My lawyer shut that down quick. Showed the court text from Denise thanking me for being the only adult in the house. Showed I had always been the one cooking, cleaning, keeping our family afloat. In the end, the judge gave us shared custody, but I kept the house. She had to move back in with her mom. And here's the final twist. Thanksgiving came around again. This time, I hosted just the kids. No wife. No in-laws. I cooked the biggest meal I'd ever done. All from scratch. Nothing experimental. Just simple, hearty, honest food. Turkey. Potatoes. Rolls. Gravy. Apple pie with a brown sugar crust. And when the kids sat down at the table, I smiled and said, "This is for you." No noise. No judgment. Just home. They ate every bite. Later, after they went to bed, I poured myself a glass of wine and looked at my empty kitchen. It used to feel like a war zone. Now it felt like mine again. They took my food for granted. My time. My care. But I got the last word. They called my food experimental. Now I call their silence peace.